the Bears. Welcome in, everyone, to Barely Educated. We are for the fans, by the fans. We are here to talk to you about Bears Panthers, the epic showdown coming up this Sunday at the Lakefront. As always, I'm Mark Jansen, joined by Chris Teichler. Chris, how are you?
I'm doing good. I am on fall break officially as of today. Yes.
Nice.
So I'm enjoying
I
it.
was wondering because I'm all in the office. A little different recording this on a Thursday, so I think our injury details are even fuzzier than normal because somebody's being difficult.
Sorry, my fault. My bad. We are
Usually it's me, so I had to pick on you when I could.
No, it's my wife and I are headed to Chicago later today for this
What?
weekend is our 25th college reunion at Wheaton College. So
Wow.
that's why we
You
had to.
young whippersnapper, you.
I know. How about it? How about it? Yeah. So that's why we're recording a little early. So thanks, Mark, for being accommodating.
No,
Sorry.
I can fit it in this one window on a Thursday, as that's the day I have all my classes. Tuesday and Thursday, which is a sweet schedule, by the way.
Yeah, that is
So
pretty
yeah,
cool.
you get to see the office in the background instead of the curtain
Yeah.
in the kitchen.
Pay no
It also
attention
means I
to.
may not sound as good because I don't have the fancy mic, which I usually keep at home because I do my archaeology podcasting usually on Fridays as
Nice.
well.
Yes.
So
Yeah. No, you
okay,
sound
as
good, man.
usual, this is a problem though. Now that I think about it, we, are we going to get the Thursday night game right?
It's
Normally,
gonna be a
I
little
joke about how
trickier.
we nailed it. Now we actually have to predict it or not. Safe to
Yeah.
say we're going to get Thursday night game right. But let's clean up the game that was between the Bears and Rams first. Anything you want to add or change from what we said before?
Uh, couple.
Upon further review, I believe we used to call
Yes.
this at one
After
point
further
before I
review.
forgot what it was
Yes.
called.
After further review. Yeah. And maybe this can be kind of a meatball moment for me. That touchdown
Fair enough.
pass from Caleb to DJ Moore. Oh my gosh! When you see that from some of the all 22 angles and not just the TV angle that we saw it, it's an unbelievable throw. He put it in the exact spot that only Moore could catch it. And yeah, it was a linebacker on him, but it was still pretty good coverage. But oh my goodness, that throw made me like just seeing it on some of the all 22 angles made me stand up and say, "That's right, my friend. That's our quarterback, Bears."
I continue to not be worried about Caleb's arm. Deep
Agreed.
accuracy is the big issue right now, yes, but it will come. I'm positive it will come along soon. They'll hit some, and that'll open up the floodgates, so to speak, I think. So what I really like about that throw, I mean, it is a great throw. So is the one to commit over the middle over the
Oh,
linebacker. I like, as
oh,
no one will be surprised that it's me saying this. I like the process. I like that we got a linebacker on a receiver and threw the ball there. I even think it's kind of funny, but I guess I like it still that he went through his reads, even though I'm
mm.
like, you don't even need to go through your reads. Just throw it to the wide receiver covered by the linebacker. But the throw is great. A little weird that DJ didn't get more open with the linebacker on him, but nitpicking, I suppose. But I like that he's going through reads and it's visible all over the tape this
Mm.
week.
Yes.
And I love that the throw to Komet, Caleb talked about this. He recognized that the linebacker's flat footed and he knew he had it. It's just like the ability to do all this and observe those kind of little minute details is super encouraging. I
Yeah.
know a lot of people are like, they picked the wrong QB and everybody's all worked up about Jaden Daniels and all this stuff. The Bears are asking Caleb to do a whole lot more and very different things than Daniels, who is basically running his LSU offense, which we know he runs extraordinarily well. Eventually, the league will take away some of those things, and I think Daniels is going to be good, so I think he'll adjust. But it's not always going to be this good for him. And they're not in competition with each other.
Right. That's an
So
important
when
thing to point
Caleb
out.
doesn't have the gaudy numbers, you have to think more in terms of like what he's being asked to do, and seeing him go through some of these things can be frustrating in the moment. But then I think the Bears long term are trying to do something more NFL sustainable. At the same time, I still hate the messaging coming out of Hallis Hall this week about the turnovers and some of that stuff. It sure still sounds like he's not being that aggressive because he's trying to take care of the ball. And I don't think Ryan Poles drafted his quarterback with the first overall pick to not throw the ball to his first round wide receiver when he absolutely annihilates the coverage. There was the throw, there was 11-yard out to commit. Runs a double move, safety's flat footed. That is a touchdown.
I saw that. Yep.
If I'm Ryan Poles, I'm sitting Caleb down and I'm saying, what did you see here? Walk me through this play. I want to know if he just didn't see it. Let's pretend he saw it. Now, why didn't you throw it? Yeah, I wanted to, the 11-yard out was still a good play. Blah, blah, blah. Then I'm bringing in Shane Waldron. I'm asking Shane, what do you want your QB to do on this play? And if he says, I want him to hit the shot to Rome, then I'm going to bring in Matt Eberflus. And I'm going to say, Matt, shut up. Stop talking to the quarterback.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. You're the head coach. It's your job, blah, blah, blah. If you're coaching that out of him, we got a big problem.
Yeah, agreed.
And I don't know it, though. So that's the caveat, of course. It's all turnovers when the coach is talking. It's all taking care of the ball.
Right.
Taking what the defense gives you. And I'm pulling my hair out when he said that because the defense gave you the deep TD and you didn't take it. And I need to know why, and they'll never tell us. But I can't think Poles loves seeing that on tape. Why did we pick Caleb Williams if we're going to turn him into a check down commander?
Yeah.
Just got to be the growing process. That's what you have to hang your hat on and say, hey, the shots will come. That's what I'm doing. But I still don't like that part. There are other things I do like from that game that we didn't really know yet. Am I making sense, though?
Yeah. Was that on the Tim Jenkins that you saw?
Yeah, that was Jenkins. Jenkins and JT both talked about it in their reviews.
Okay, yeah, I saw Tim Jenkins.
Like, guys, we got to hit this. We got to make this throw. This is not going to happen every week in the NFL. This is as good as it gets. Why are we not making this throw? And I said one of the things I was really happy with so far is it didn't look like he had any turn downs, which I would submit to you was 1A and 1B for Fields' biggest problem with just holding the ball too long, taking too many sacks, is all the times the guy's open or matched up really well and he didn't throw it. And so seeing Caleb with the turn down killed me a little bit. And I think he made a good play still, but he could have made an amazing play. Yeah. And how different does this game feel for Caleb if it's a 60-yard touchdown to Rome, and now the stat line is what, 240 or something and 2 touchdowns?
Mm-hmm.
You're loving it. To me, this isn't about the box score, though. It's about scoring points, and that's the quarterback's first job. I don't want a coach who thinks the quarterback's first job is taking care of the ball. Ugh. That's what we've done our whole lives.
Yeah, he said that in the post game. If people listening haven't seen it, he said that that's the most important thing is taking care of the ball. And I was like, no, it's not. It is not taking care of the ball.
It is this coach's ethos. That's why I wouldn't have paired him with him.
That's why we had Kyle Orton, you know.
But so there's definitely some good coming out of that game. So I'm not trying to panic.
Yes.
I want to see him take that shot, even if he misses it. There's no risk. It's not an interception. There's not a world where, short of him falling as he throws it, that ball is even remotely in any danger.
Yeah, and based on what we've seen,
why did we miss one?
Based on what we've seen so far, it's either touchdown or overthrow.
Yeah. Why did we miss it? Were we coached so much that we're looking for checkdowns too much? Did we just not see it because something was in the way? That's why I would start with, Caleb, walk me through this. Why did we do this? And then I want to know what Shane Waldron's reads are and what he wants there before I get to the coach. But if those two things are answered a certain way and it leads back to the coach being too conservative, I'm pretty ticked off if I'm Ryan Poles. That's all. But those are two hypotheticals. They could be not the case. Good news, though. Caleb Williams from Kevin Fishbane in the second half via the Rams from @TrueMediaSports. So Fishbane's quoting True Media Sports. 9 of 10, for 86 yards. I didn't realize he only threw one incomplete pass in the second half.
Wow, I didn't realize that
I mean, they
either.
were running a lot, so 10 pass attempts is kind of funny too. But they were running effectively. Of course, they had the one drive that ended with the big run. Anyway, 9 of 10, 135.6 passer rating, EPA of 0.66, and EPA versus the blitz of 0.42. EPA stands for expected points added. So those are actually a pretty solid number, even though I know that won't always, not every listener is like interested in all that. So I don't want to belabor the point too much. He also had the highest rating of the week. I think it was 124 against the blitz in the entire NFL.
That is a thing right there.
That's so there's some seriously good stuff. It's not just coping. Yeah, we want more production, we want more scoring, we want bigger yardage totals more consistently. The ball than we getting the receivers. That one kills me because you got these three receivers and they barely touched it, right?
Yeah.
But man, there are some things in the process of how Caleb is playing that are seriously encouraging, and they should bode well for the future. And I think it's almost like he's just trying to build this foundation, and then he's gonna start trying to take the top off the defense more. I hope.
I hope. Yeah,
Also
I was
help the
gonna say I
run
hope too.
game if you could back these guys up a little bit. But compare that blitz stat to how he looked week 2 against the Texans.
I was just gonna ask about that.
Plus
If
the
you,
O line, of course.
yeah, yeah, much better, much more improved, and that's gonna make defenses and coaches, um, maybe back off a bit on blitz too. If he has he keeps having a rating in the 120s against the blitz, so that's another really
He
good thing
came in
too.
as the off script home run superhero guy, and you blitz him so he doesn't have time for it. And now 2 weeks later, he's carving up the blitz. That's pretty cool.
I'll take it.
Mentally, man, it's special. It's special. The time to throw is great. I just don't want to coach out all the aggression. But if they're saying we're going to get you up to speed on this and then bring back the aggression, I'm not sure I love it, but I could live with it. And I hate that I'm kind of here where I'm like, okay, well, I'm sure it's coming. I wish it was already there.
Yeah, yeah,
But
I
he's
know
doing
what you're
line
saying.
checks. They're asking to do all the things.
Hmm. Yeah. Do
So
you, after seeing some of the tape and breakdown and all 22 stuff, do you feel any different about Shane Waldron and the kind of
a
game
little
he's
bit
calling?
this week, yes. Now
It,
there are still stupid things like the first play with Komet on the screen, the first drive,
yeah,
and Rome blocking. Would you
asking Rome to
flip
block
that? What do
you.
we? Why? Why do we keep doing this? Use players with what they're good at until the defense takes it away. Then get cute if you have to. Get tricky. It's better.
Hmm.
But when I see Rome running free for a touchdown twice, maybe 3 times, there's the one we've already been talking about. There's the one where he got DPI, but they didn't call it. And it looks like Caleb
Yeah,
overthrows him. He's 100% held. It was like a hilariously
yeah,
bad no call.
hmm
I can't, like, Waldron's drawing up stuff that gets some guys free. I mean, it's not perfect, but I thought he
that,
was a train wreck weeks 2 and 3, or weeks 1 and 2.
hmm
And 3 was a little better. And then 4 was a little better. So it's like this whole thing is slowly coming together, and it's a little bit frustrating at the pace of it.
yeah. It's like,
But
why
I
did it
don't,
take this long? Yeah,
we joked last time about like who the weekly public enemy number one is. Well, DeAndre Swift got that taken care of.
yeah. I gotta
I would
delete some
argue
tweets.
Waldron had a good enough game when you consider some of those deep shots were there. It was an ugly wins because we didn't take those shots. If we hit those shots, it's a really comfortable win.
Hmm.
So I feel like, I mean, he's kind of doing his job there, right? Like if they're running free, that's what we want.
Hmm.
But
So
I still
Caleb
think
hit it.
there's a couple questionable things, but I think you're going to get that with every coach. There's too much hindsight as we sit here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
So I don't know who is public enemy number one this week, or
Flus?
is that only when we lose?
I don't know. If there's a obvious one, even in a win, we should
Yeah.
go
Well,
after it.
mine's always going to be Flus if he's coaching the aggression out of Caleb.
Well, for me, he would be for me for that comment that you brought up already about quarterback's
Yes,
first
man.
job is to protect the ball.
It's so
No.
frustrating because there are things I like about Flus. I know I sound like a total hater. I just hate the plan,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know about his game management. But shout out to the game management, though. This was way better than the Colts game. I don't know if he
Much.
mentioned it in the post game, but I do try to be fair. No burned timeouts. No, oh, what, wait, go for 2. Oh, no
Gotta burn
bad
it.
challenges.
Yeah.
It was a much smoother game there. We got to clean up the pre-snap penalties. 10 penalties is way too many. So it wasn't perfect, but so like that's always been my other beef with him is in game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just going to come and go, right? But the defense plays well. We continue to play pretty well. I'm still a little worried about the pass rush against better teams. They're also not going to play another Matthew Stafford for a while, who's pulling plays out of thin air that you're like, how did he get that ball there? Like he's still really good.
He is, and he's a Hall of Famer, right? You think?
I think his counting stats plus the championship will get him in, but probably not first ballot.
Right? Oh, interesting. Okay, all right.
I think.
Yeah, I think the Super Bowl win
Definitely
sealed it for him, but
yeah.
I always when he was with the Lions, I always felt he was more of a, as some people referred to him as Stat Padford.
We used to joke about that. We did.
But yeah, he does stuff that he's been in the league 15 years now. So
I mean, it was he was on a bad team and a bunch of yards are coming late when they're already down, and that's kind of where the joke came from.
Yeah.
But when you saw him with like better stuff around him, you really appreciate. The physical talent was always pretty darn good.
Yeah.
So I don't have much else to say about the defensive effort. They beat Stafford and McVay. That's not something I honestly expected the Bears to do, even if it looked a little funny at times.
Even with some missing pieces in.
Well, I picked the Rams, didn't I?
For Cup and yeah, we both did. Yeah, it's true. That's true. Yeah, but if Puka Nakua and Cooper Cup are playing, maybe it comes out differently, but maybe not.
Probably comes out differently because some of those long drives are probably not just field goals.
Mm.
One or two of them being 6 puts the Bears behind, and now they're not going to run as much, and who knows.
And then Flus is wasting timeouts and bad challenges.
Pets' heads are falling off.
Nice.
So we have a game to preview as well.
Okie dokie. It's Andy Dalton friends. Revenge Game Part 2. Yeah.
Our newest rival, the Carolina Panthers. The rivalry we actually do well in.
Yeah, this is like the inverse of our Green Bay lately. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Carolina comes to town with the Red Rifle back, flinging it. Andy Dalton revenge game. He's got 5 TDs to 1 interception on the year. He is legitimately flinging it.
Yeah.
Chuba Hubbard is actually a pretty underrated back, I think. Okay, so we are back after experiencing some technical difficulties.
You suck, Chris.
And we're good now. So we were talking about the Panthers. So I want to set up a quick point with some very generic numbers, as generic as NFL numbers get. Chuba Hubbard, 96 yards in 55 attempts. That's 2 more attempts than DeAndre Swift, 2. And 135 more yards.
No. That's bad.
Deontay Johnson has 239 yards in 20 catches. DJ Moore has 189 yards in 22 catches. The point I'm making is this is a more explosive offense than the Bears through 1 month. Whoa. As much as we might knock and meet and have fun at the Panthers' expense for the glorious trade, they come in playing much better offense than the Bears do right this moment, which may or may not matter come Sunday. You could also say, yeah, and they haven't played a defense like the Bears. So, but just if you think that they're like terrible, know that their offense has considerably been better so far than the Bears, especially since Dalton took over. But it's not a good offense by any stretch of the imagination. They're not a good football team. Just pointing out that they may be better than people think since he took over.
Yeah.
They're horrible, Bryce Young.
Putting more points up, that's for sure.
Not that they're a contender by any stretch. I'm not worried about the game either. I'm just trying to be fair here. And that stood out to me. I was like, that's way better than the Bears running back's been so far. Okay, so let's get into the matchups. When the Panthers have the ball, you have overall an offense averaging 291 yards, 23rd in the league, versus a defense giving up 295, 10th in the league, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 4 yards, but that much of a ranking spread. Anyway.
Yeah.
Then you have they're the 25th ranked pass, the 18th ranked run. Like I said, they're not good, but they have played better offensively since Dalton took over. Bears are 10th overall, 10th against the pass, and only 18th against the run. They have had some blips, a little bit of hiccups in the running game. I think that's definitely on the film. But still, the Bears' defense is, of course, pretty good,
Pretty good.
if not really good. When the Bears have the ball, it's the 28th defense versus the 30th offense.
Okay.
Bears passing is 24th. The Panthers are surprisingly decent against the pass. I wonder if that's because teams have big leads some games those first couple weeks and are just running.
Just running the ball. Yeah.
All this has to be taken into that context.
Yeah.
They're 29th in the league against the run. There's where you can beat them. Yes, with our also 29th running attack.
Aha.
But hopefully took some steps forward Sunday.
Right. Yeah, that's the hope.
As much as I hate it, guys, the point of this is through the first month of the season, this is a more even matchup than we want to believe by the numbers. Not what I want.
Yeah. Hopefully they turned the corner though last week. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, hopefully we saw the beginnings of where this offense is going, and the direction that it's heading will lead to more points and better rankings and all that. Yeah.
So Bears favored by 4 at home.
Okay.
Who you got? And what's your score, sir?
I like the Bears to win 27-17, my friend.
The Bears.
That was exactly the score I was going to
Hey,
say.
look at that. We are of one mind.
All right, I'm
One
going
fairly educated
to
mind.
throw on the ever dangerous optimism and pick the Bears since you took 27. I'll take 30. Let's go. We're going to hit the big 3-0.
A 30 burger. Ooh.
And I'll say 19. They get a bunch of field goals because that sort of seems to be the defense's thing.
So 1 touchdown, 4 field goals for the
Type
Panthers.
game. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
That's a lot of good drives, but it seems kind of silly. But
Well,
whatever. Maybe 16. I don't know. Who cares? I think the Bears should win this comfortably.
Kickers
Even though
are.
I think the Panthers are playing better last couple
Yeah,
weeks.
they are. But it seems like kickers are regularly hitting 50 plus with no problem now. So
Oh my gosh, it's one of the themes of the season.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
So if we do the whole breakdown that I do, a lot of times coach, QB, best unit. Coach is a wash. I don't know enough about theirs. I mean, I know he helped Baker Mayfield last year in Tampa, and he had the courage or something to bench Bryce Young, and he works for a horrible owner, and we don't know much about him as a head coach. Come on now, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And we have big questions about ours. So I'm going to call that a wash.
Okay.
This stage in their career, Andy Dalton is marginally a better NFL quarterback than Caleb Williams, but I don't particularly care because Caleb could explode any given day and just crush a team off script, hit a couple deep shots, and all of a sudden that's a no contest. So I'm going to very, very tentatively and sort of with my full tongue in cheek here say that's a wash, even though it's really not long-term a wash at all.
Mm-hmm.
And that gets me to the obvious point. The Bears defense is by far the best unit on either side.
That's going to be the case
but
a lot of
the Carolina Panthers pass blocking has been the best in the NFL. They beefed up that line, and they have been very good at minimizing pressures.
So that's interesting to point out because that seems to indict Bryce Young for being bad all on his own, you know.
And a nice little spot for Dalton because Dalton can make the throws. It's
yes,
he
can.
Got no athleticism, right? Like it's like he's younger version of Flacco. If you keep him upright, he'll find the open guy typically. So the pass rush needs to play better than the Panthers' previous few opponents. I will also say with that 4-week sample, you get one of those games that can just totally dominate that kind of number. And just played the Bengals, who have basically no pass rush, as the whole world saw on Monday Night Football versus the Commanders, unless Hendrickson is popping off that game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he played hurt against the Panthers.
Mm.
So I expect the Bears to still have some success getting to Dalton. But it could be a much different game if they have no pressure on him at all.
Yeah.
Still, the secondary's elite, right?
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Pretty good. Yeah. So I will take the Bears. I think they finally get a win
Bears.
that's more comfortable and maybe even an actually competent offensive day.
The Bears.
Panthers are also without their best defensive player for the year. Brown, he's been hurt for a while. And they're out both their starting linebackers. So the Bears have a ton of advantages coming in all honesty. Not a homer take. And we got to play for that second round pick
That's right.
as high as possible. Don't screw around. Get that asset higher. Okay. Other games to preview?
Yeah.
No, asset.
Okay, yes. Yes, what do you got?
Vikings hosting the Jets.
Boy, the Jets have spiraled out of control, haven't they? They seem to be a mess internally.
That didn't take long.
No, it did not.
I think he's a bum.
No, they told us they're all fine. So,
okay, all right. Well, my mistake then. Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Vikings, boy, they almost choked that game with a 28-point lead against Green Bay, but maybe they
in the world was that game?
Maybe they called called off the dogs, but I don't know. Jordan Love he threw 3 picks and it almost didn't matter. That was kind of scary. But you gotta like Minnesota in that, right?
The Jets are hard to take seriously until the offense looks better, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can say that about us too, I suppose. That's why both teams are 2-2.
Yeah.
Minnesota goes to 5-0. Seems hard to believe, but I mean, what have the Vikings done besides maybe let the foot off the gas last week to make you think they're not going to win this game?
Nothing.
They're pretty darn good somehow. I'm still confused. I know the coaches are great, but I'm very confused beyond that and Jefferson. But they keep on rolling, so I'm not going to pick against it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The next North game is. Wait, where are the Lions? Are they on a bye?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't see them. I see.
Yes, they're on the bye.
I see Green Bay and the Rams.
Yeah, so I was going to go to that one, and then I was like, "Where's the Lions?" Okay, Green Bay at aforementioned Rams. Rams getting 3 at home.
Oh, interesting. That surprises me. Gosh, I hate picking Green Bay, of course, but the way that they looked that second half against Minnesota, and that offense can be explosive. So, do the Rams have a defense that can stop that? I don't think so. Not a run defense, and Green Bay can run the ball. We saw that.
Yeah, you got to pick Green Bay.
Yep. Unfortunately.
I do think it's funny that they brought Love back after just 2 weeks. He throws 3 interceptions, practically has 400 yards, and they almost come back. And you're like, this team is a wild ride now.
Mm-hmm.
Malik Willis looks amazing. It's like, what is going on there? I just, if I'm honest, and I think about the Rams team that the Bears just played, I can't see this version of the Packers losing to that team.
Do you think there are Packer fans saying, Malik Willis is 2-0. We got to run with him as the starter. The way Bears fans would do that. Are
they smarter than Bears fans on the whole?
Probably.
I don't know. Is there a Bob from Green Bay calling in to the whatever?
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah, like I wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, it just seems so like short-sighted, but I just wondered if it was possible. I mean, I have my friend Bob back home is definitely telling his Packer fan friends that you better go with Willis.
Hey, Bob.
He's
we should be trolling them more with this for sure.
It's just art.
And my Bob reference is an old score bit, not about your Bob.
Oh, I know, but
shout out to Teichler's Bob.
Teichler's Bob. But it's funny that my friend Bob is a Bob. I mean, that's perfect.
How are you, Bob?
All right, the other game I want to mention, just because there's 2. Buffalo, Houston, 2-3-1 teams. Feels like a big deal, big picture. Whichever one of those goes 4-1.
Yeah, are you surprised that, I mean, Buffalo lost to Baltimore, which in and of itself
Clobbered.
isn't a surprise. But yeah, they were hammered by Baltimore. I did not expect that. So up until then, Buffalo looked like maybe they were the best team in the league, but man, that turned
Yeah.
around fast. So what's the real Buffalo?
It's any given week league. I mean, I think the lesson that we always forget or tend to forget as a sports culture is it's an any given week league,
Yeah,
even for good teams.
I guess so.
And a lot of times teams bounce back. It's tough to beat 0-2 teams, right? We saw that when the Bears lost to the Colts. There's just all these little pithy statements that tend to hold true year to year that don't always make sense otherwise. And just Baltimore's not as bad as they looked. Buffalo wasn't as good as they looked. And here comes Baltimore beating the tar out of Buffalo.
Right.
Buffalo, Houston, though, I have no idea what to think of this game. I think it's going to be fun, and I'm going to miss most of it while I watch the Bears.
Bears. I expect
Bears
Buffalo.
already has 1,000 yards.
Wow. It's in Houston, right? Yeah, it's in Houston.
Yeah.
I expect Buffalo to bounce back. They've looked way too good the first 3 weeks. So I'm thinking that last week was more of a blip than the first 3 weeks being a blip. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I think that's totally reasonable. It fits what I was just kind of saying about
yeah.
Baltimore wasn't as bad as 1-2. Buffalo was undefeated and all that. Just to be different, I guess I'll take the Texans in the
All
Stephon
right.
game.
There we
Why
go.
not?
There we go. Yeah. What
And
about?
then Dallas at Pittsburgh.
I was going to ask you about that. Do we want to see who Justin and the Steelers are playing? Boy, Dallas looks like they got some issues too.
And that's a real shame.
They got the
I
Mike
mean,
McCarthy
don't you think
issue.
the Pittsburgh defense could totally break that Dallas offense
Yes,
and
I
send
do.
everybody into even more of a panic?
I do. Yeah.
I think it'd be kind of fun to see how Justin looks for a whole game because usually they're playing when the Bears are playing, and you don't really watch it. You just see highlights, and he's always good on the highlights.
Yep.
Had a
Dallas.
really good game last week in the counting stats, but they ended up losing.
Mm-hmm. Dallas has had trouble stopping the run too this year, so
This matchup sure looks like it favors Pittsburgh.
it sure does. Yep, agreed.
Hard to believe they'd be 4-1, but I think we're there.
Hard to believe Dallas would be 2-3. I wouldn't have expected that. Especially with the highest paid quarterback of all time, you know. Oh, I'm enjoying it. Don't get me wrong, but
you know. Wait, we veered into an almost hot take that we didn't actually have. He said, "There's got to be a Dak one eventually."
Yeah. It's got to be the right time, though. It's got to be the right circumstance, right time.
Well, if he plays like crap this week because of Pittsburgh's D, maybe that'll be next episode.
Maybe.
Who knows? Or next week.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I had two other nuggets.
Okay.
I don't have any other games I care about. Number one. This is from a tweet by Sniper1154. Big fan of Sniper1154. Has Ryan Poles made it better? It was retweeted by Kristen Tanis, who's a must follow if you're not, but it was retweeted by her. Has Ryan Poles made a better signing than Andrew Billings? The Raiders let him walk and signed Christian Wilkins to a 4-year, $110 million deal. I'm not sure how much is guaranteed. Billings re-signed for the Bears for 2 years and $8 million. Per ESPN, Billings is number 3 in pass rush win rate at 20% for all DTs. Wilkins is 4th. And the key of that, of course, is 110 million versus 8. Pretty funny.
I like that math.
I'm starting to think Ryan Poles is the Adam Dunn of GMs.
Oh,
the home runs are like they're there, and then we're just striking out otherwise. A lot of times, like I don't know. We'll see. There's definitely enough to like, but man, we need some more doubles. All right, so there's that. That little nugget I thought was worth sharing.
Yes, I like that.
And what's he going to get next year then, Billings, if he keeps stuff like this up? I mean, are the sack totals not going to be there to keep his price down?
Actually, the D-line has been better than I thought. It's up front. I guess that is the D-line, up front. But they have generated more pressure than I expected. I thought maybe the secondary would have more pressure on them to break up the passing game. But defensive line has been pretty good. Dexter, pretty good.
Yeah. Let's see how they do against a better interior. The Panthers interior is much better than the Rams. Tackles, I don't really know if they're any good, but we'll see how those big boys look. Definitely very happy with Dexter's progress too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the last thing I wanted to come back to this with the precise stat and with the little technical difficulty I got.
My bad.
This was a tweet by Clay Harbor sent to me the other day by cousin Nate.
Cousin Nate, shut up.
Caleb Williams completed just 44% of his passes versus the blitz the first 3 weeks of the season. Sunday, he was 8 of 9 for 75 yards and a TD. This kid is progressing capital fast.
That's a huge shift. Holy moly.
Impressive.
And now we just see if I feel like Caleb might be the kind that once it clicks and he's got it, then he just got it. Let's see how he looks against the blitz, game to game. But it's a huge jump. Yeah. And I wanted to return to it with the actual precise number since I brought it up earlier.
Yeah, and clearly, I mean, he's doing things after 4 games that we were still not seeing Justin do after 3 years. So,
yep. And I'm glad Justin's having success.
Yeah. Oh, me too. Me too.
For now.
Me too.
But the other reason, look, guys, the other thing is people bring up Fields still again from time to time. I don't mean you, but just in general.
Yeah.
You also are about to have to pay him.
Right. That's
He's
a very good point.
He's quarterback if the Panthers don't give you the number 1 overall pick. Yes. Yeah. But they do. And you got to reset your cap and everything else. No GM is passing on that opportunity in a draft with good quarterback prospects.
Yeah.
They might pass on that opportunity if it was this upcoming one. But with a draft with guys like Caleb and Jaden Daniels and Drake May, you're like, I'm going to take a new QB when Justin wasn't the guy they drafted anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's so like, yeah, part of it's about Justin's play, but part of it was just the situation he ends up in.
That's a good
so
nugget,
we don't
man.
Have to like, because it's like the same thing with they're not the Bears' enemy.
Yeah.
I intend to watch Sunday, and I hope he plays well.
Agreed. Yeah. No problem with it. And I'm really happy for him that he's in a better spot for him. But how's that Luke Getsy thing in Vegas working out, by the way, So
it's hit or miss, right? They beat the Ravens somehow, and then now they look bad again.
Yeah, now they look bad.
Not like expected.
Yes, exactly.
Can we get him to send over the scripted plays to Waldron, though? And then we'll do our coach the rest of the way?
Yeah, it's kind of flipped, isn't it?
Horrible. And Getsy was actually good at that.
He was. Yeah, the Bears' offense always was much better that first quarter and then collapsed in the second half, especially the fourth quarter. And as you pointed out before, Justin's fourth quarter stats were abysmal. So, yeah, it's kind of a mirror image. I guess I would prefer this. Get better as the game goes on, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, with the better quarterback.
So many games. I mean, how many games league-wide every week come down to some third down play late in the fourth?
Yeah.
Or a turnover or not, right? Or a big play or not. I mean, so many games the margin of error is very small, and it comes down to something late. So you want to be better as the game goes on, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've seen that in all the Bears games.
Yes, we have.
Titans had a chance. Levis didn't give it to him. Bears had a chance. Rome and Caleb didn't communicate on the fourth down throw or whatever. Bears had a chance against the Colts too. Rams had a chance Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Get hit, ball up in the air. So like the way that margin for error works and the way those games come down to some sort of big play within 4 minutes to go or whatever, you definitely would prefer to be stronger as the game goes.
Absolutely.
But I just couldn't resist like the joke, like, man, why are our scripted plays horrible?
It's
Throwing
true.
Screens to go commit.
All right.
So, well, that's all I got. So.
Cool. No, that's good stuff. I will check in from Chicago in a couple days, my friend. And we're not coming back till Monday, so if we want to do a post game, I wouldn't be able to do it till Monday. But maybe we don't. If
Depends
it's
on the game.
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Or maybe Sarah can drive home.
If it's a close, ugly game, I'm probably going to be not interested because it just seems like you say the same thing.
Yeah, sure.
If the Bears take significant steps forward offensively, especially Caleb, that'll be fun.
Yeah. Like this
and
past
if they
game.
lose, we're going to burn the town down. So
I'll get it started when I'm there, my friend. Yeah, after this
Oh,
last
not
game,
that
we
time.
had to do one because Caleb really took big steps this last week. So, yeah, that's a good idea. Play it week to week, play it by ear. I like that. Cool. All right, well, I should let you go teach, and I should finish packing for my trip.
Enjoy your trip
Thank
to
you.
the
Yeah.
promised land.
Yay.
Go Bears.
Go Bears. Thanks, everyone, for listening to this episode of Barely Educated. Find us on our website, buymeacoffee.com/barely_educated. There you can join our honor roll for $3 a month, and we will send you a Barely Educated t-shirt. I'd be happy to do that for you supporting our show and content. If you would also give us a rating wherever you listen to the podcast, that would help us too. That'll get more Bears fans access to it and be able to hear it and help the show grow. Email us at bearlyeducatedpod@gmail.com. We'd be happy to read any listener thoughts on the next show too, so send them on over. We'll talk to you next week at some point, hopefully after another Bears W. Until then, take care and bear down, my friends.
Hey, Bob. Hey, Bob. How are you, Bob?
You are indeed a dip from Chicago.
The Bears.
I love the Bears.